write it, I drop it, they listen, they bought it. The battle, I fought it, the challenge, they watch it. The hard path, I ran it, the struggles I managed, I never did plan it. We got here, we jamming like, if you came along, baby, let me see your hands. If you wanna fall in love, let me see your hands. If you having fun, baby, let me see your hands. In fact, that's not enough. Hey, let me see you stand up.
Hey, Sin City Fantasy. We are back. Well, I say we, but it's just me. Trying to get my buddy Jared, obviously, part of the show. Been a part of the show for 4 years now. I've been going on 5. Unfortunately, we've had a couple ups and downs. Lexi has gone on to bigger and better things. We're working on getting Rogers back after 2 years of missing out. He had good excuses. Baby on the way. About 2 years ago, he had a baby, and then unfortunately, when COVID hit, his family decided to hunker down in their basement, just like I did, and I stayed in here. He just couldn't get out. They were worried that that they would get COVID and pass it on to their new child. So unfortunately, yes, Rogers has been gone for 2 years now, but we are hoping and praying that we are getting him back on Mondays. I've been working diligently with him to get a good schedule, to make sure that we get the original crew back, get them in here, and actually get some more guests in here, and maybe get a couple call-ins along the way. Honestly, it's going to be a good season. We beat COVID. At least we hope so. Right now, NFL, full capacity, and mostly, I think, all NFL stadiums. The last thing I heard on the Pat McAfee show, they talk about all the time, Indianapolis Colts. May not, but I'm sure they will. So we will see. If you guys could, make sure you like and subscribe. I know with us being kind of down half the time, we're up and down, and since it's a fantasy football show, it gets a little slow when we get into get through the summer and everything. But right now, we're going to try to ramp it up, get you guys all your running back rankings, all your wide receiver rankings, tight end rankings, QB rankings. Normally, if we can fit it in there, we'll do some defensive rankings, but honestly, I just hope you guys stop using kickers and defenses. I'm almost tired of it. But, it's part of the fantasy football game. It's fun. A lot of the leagues I play in actually have like a tight end. It's like a bump. Tight end bump, but tight end premium. And that's another thing that we're going to be doing today. There's a draft we are doing. It's for the tournament. It's for the Triple S Showdown. Over 300 people have jumped on. I think we're getting over 500 this year. About Tree Fitty and Swamp King. Swamp King's in right now. Swamp King took off last year, I think, and he's back this year, better than ever. But this Triple S Showdown tournament, I want to talk about it a little bit. Showcases the charity mystuffbags.org. Make sure you go there and look it up, because the mystuffbags.org organization, it helps out 300,000 abandoned, abused, neglected children across America, maybe removed from their home for one reason or another, dangerous homes, or just, like I said, neglect. And even a $5 donation can go towards toys, clothes, stuffed animals, blankets. These kids need anything, you can give them. So that's why I've kind of attached myself to this charity organization. One, because it has more to do with what's going on in our 49 states connected to this, continent of America, basically. So, the United States of America. Unfortunately, I guess they can't send it out to Hawaii. But, again, a great organization. And these two guys that I just talked about earlier, about Tree 50 and Swamp King, have done an excellent job of promoting everything that goes along with this charity and what goes along with this tournament. They're trying to make it as big as the Scotty Fish Bowl tournament. Obviously, I'm not ever going to be in it. I hope to. It'd be pretty cool. But this is the next best thing. And one thing I love about Tree 50 and Swamp King is they're always ready and willing to kind of chat with you, and you can kind of talk back and forth with them and give them ideas. Really good guys, and they've been really good about promoting everybody's show, like new and up-and-coming shows like mine. I've done a show before with a couple buddies, and they've helped out with their shows too. So again, they're, as long as you're helping out them, they'll help out you. And again, we are doing a mock draft today for the Triple S tourney, it's a super flex league. One quarterback, obviously a super flex. You might want to get two, and then you got two running backs, three wide receivers, one tight end, which is a tight end premium, and then one flex spot, and then obviously the super flex. No defense, no kickers. But the coolest thing about this, obviously I talked about the tight end premium, but there's other stuff in there. Running backs get a little bonus for every attempt, so that bumps up Derrick Henry a little bit. They also get a little bonus for a first down, so do wide receivers. So maybe when you're picking out your wide receivers, there's a bonus for first down, and there's a bonus for catching. So maybe more possession receivers get a little bit of a bump up. So you might not want to grab Tyreek Hill as your first receiver because he's kind of a downfield threat, and he may not get as many first downs as somebody like Calvin Ridley, and he's going to be bumped up there. I know Michael Thomas is one of my big guys I'm trying to get to, so I know these guys have been waiting for me for about an hour now. I'm actually doing a couple things today. I'm working on getting this show back in order for you guys. I've been doing a lot of stuff, and we'll go through it today, but they want to get this show on the road, so I'm going to start the draft. I'm in the 9th position, and we'll kind of go in and along the way. Again, my first time on camera for, feels like 9 months or so, so I hope you guys can bear with me. It's going to be a couple days. I can take a couple brewskis with me. And here we go. We're going to start the draft, and I'll kick you guys right in there. And look, you don't have to look at my ugly mug just as much. And, of course, the first pick off the board is Christian McCaffrey, which is a normal thing. Everybody's going to get him. Obviously, he's going to be close to 100 receptions this year. Bringing in Sam Darnold, I don't think that's a bad thing for him. I don't know if Sam Darnold is the answer, but maybe he's kind of the stopgap right now till they find the answer. Second pick by Swamp King. Again, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Patrick Mahomes, and now it's my turn. Everybody's picking pretty quick. Unfortunately, we had 4 open spots, but I didn't want to sit here and try to make you guys wait all day long. Again, they've been waiting for about 45 minutes, so again, I thank them so much for sticking with us and actually jumping in, and hopefully they keep picking all the way up. There's going to be about 15 rounds, so it's going to be a good day. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. Right now, it's the easiest pick in the book. I remember Swamp King, I think it was Swamp King earlier, he asked me, he said, who are you looking for in the first round in the 9th pick? And I didn't really want to tell him because it was kind of a secret until now. Guys, the first pick that everybody should be taking in the first round is easily Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce with the tight end premium, also going to get a little bump up for first downs, and also, he's just he's one of the most dominant players. So the tight end premium right now is 1.5 points in the Triple S Showdown. The receivers get 0.75 points. If I actually make a mistake on here, you guys can text me somehow and tell me, but I'm pretty sure I got all the rules pretty down pat. Attempts, I think we're getting 0.2 points for rushing attempts. So it's gonna be a cool draft because some people go, they'll zig this way and the other people zag this way. Nobody's got an actual great, strategy for this Triple S Showdown, which makes it pretty interesting. Last year there was 2 flex, and this year I think there's 1 flex. I try to double check with that right before I did this video because last year there was 2 flex. You literally had to pick players that were gonna play. You could not just stack your bench with a bunch of guys who possibly could play or maybe could play. You had to get all guys that were going to be in the game at all times. So again, we'll go down the list. Josh Allen went with team 4. Derrick Henry went to Dustin at team 5. Kyler Murray, team 6, and then Lamar Jackson, and then Alvin Kamara to team 8. So again, we got, unfortunately, 4 auto picks, but it should actually get the draft going by a little bit faster because a lot of times when you get the regular picks, they want to make sure they look good too on here. They don't want to look bad. First couple rounds pretty good, and then it starts getting a little slower in the middle rounds because nobody wants to make that mistake, and they're looking for that diamond in the rough. Right now, there's a couple players that I'm looking for, and again, I'm not going to hold any secrets back. It makes no difference to me if I win or lose this tournament. It'd be great, but here's the thing: if I win the tournament, all my money's going to the MyStuffBags.org charity. I'm not going to keep it. Right now, if you join the tournament, you're going to pay $15 to join the tournament, $5 of that should go to the My Stuff Bags Foundation, and then the rest goes towards the tournament. But actually, I always give out a little bit more on top of that and donate a couple more dollars just to put it out there. Again, a great charity, a great organization. You guys make sure you check it out. Again, it's at mystuffbags.org. Check it out. Looks like the next tight end went off on the turn. We got Prescott and Darren Waller. See, the thing that right there, J.L. Khan did, he took the quarterback and the tight end. Now he still has 2 running backs to pick and 3 wide receivers mandatory. So he's got a long road ahead of him, but I think those are 2 great picks. Prescott coming back, obviously, from that ankle injury, gruesome ankle injury. So, we'll see what happens. But it looks like it's full go, and we'll definitely see that again in Hard Knocks coming up here in a couple weeks. They're gonna be putting it in. They're gonna be double checking on Prescott. Elliott's gonna be all over that, so just make sure you watch. Don't fall into the hype though. The huge hype of all the Cowboys players. Unfortunately, every bit of Hard Knocks drives their value up or their ADP up, and that's just no good. So unfortunately. I got to make sure I double check. I put the timer as what it was. I'm going to end up having to fix it for him. But let me see if I can. Real quick. And that's what I love. We're using the Sleeper app right now. The Sleeper app's super awesome. I love the Sleeper app. If I could change all my leagues to Sleeper, I would. But unfortunately right now the Sleeper app is where it's at. A lot of my teams are on Yahoo, and of course we keep them on Yahoo because of basically all the history. We got so much history right now, and I love looking back. I got one league, we call it the Champions League, which Jared's in, Rogers is in. I got a couple other buddies that have won it a whole bunch of times. I've never won it, actually. I've came in second 4 times in 11 years, and it hurts every year, trust me. I want to win it just as bad as the other guys do. But I got a guy I'm trying to get on the show that's won it, I think 4, maybe 5 times. He's one of the most amazing fantasy football players I've ever been around. You just want to pick his mind just a little bit and give you guys a little bit of the information that he goes into on a draft. I'll tell you about some of the funny stuff he's done. But, again, it seems to work out every single year. Again, the only good thing I think I have on that tournament or on that league is I actually hold the most wins all time. So, I win, but I just don't finish, I get in there. So it's my turn again, second round, 4th pick in the second round. I took Kelsey to start off again because of that tight end premium. Honestly, I could drop like a Kittle right now and not feel bad about it. But let's see if we can get get somebody who's gonna touch the ball a little bit. I think I'm looking at somebody like a Stephon Diggs if I was going to get a wide receiver right now. Also looking at Nick Chubb sitting there. I like getting Nick Chubb, but it's tough. I got some running backs I'm looking at later. I'm gonna get Stephon Diggs again. Led the NFL last year in receptions. You can't beat that right now when you're looking at I think it's .75 PPRs. So, I think you got. I don't want to lie to you guys, so I'll make sure I get the exact stats. So Nick Chubb went right after me. Stephon Diggs. Let's look at what he got last year. 127 receptions. If you bump that up, he's probably looking at about 135 this year with the extra game. So 135 receptions, looking pretty good. Travis Kelce over 100 receptions too. And with that tight end premium, 1.5 points, so you're looking at an extra, 150 points on top of just his regular average of 1,200 yards, 100 catches, and he's gonna get close to 10 touchdowns every season. So until he starts showing signs of regression from age, tight ends are pretty stacked all the way up till they get to about 34, 35. The good ones, at least, and the great ones. Obviously, Travis Kelce, you can throw him in the hat with most of the top guys, Tony Gonzalez, style tight ends. I have no problem saying that right now, so I'll take him every year. Again, back in the day, we used to take Gronkowski. I'm trying to think of Jimmy Graham. We used to take him in the first round, second round sometimes, just because of how dominant they were. Right now, just trying to look over the teams real quick. John, in the first pick, he ended up getting Kittle and Metcalf. Again, Metcalf, I don't know if I want to take in this tournament. He's more of a downfield guy. I don't think there's any extra bonus. I'll have to check for like 40-yard catches, but I would have taken Jefferson before Metcalf just because Jefferson's going to get more catches. He's easily going to get more catches than Metcalf this year. A lot more first downs. But hey, that's why we do these mock drafts. Again, guys, make sure you just stick with your mock drafts. Do not let anybody tell you just to do like one or two. Honestly, hopefully by the end of this, preseason time for it, I want to do at least 100 mock drafts multiple ways. And what I do is I write down who I get in each round and see and make sure that I do some on Sleeper, I do some on NFL, I do some on the Yahoo app. I got to do them all, you got to do them all to make sure you understand the ADPs of all the players, because if you're going up against guys that play and you play in a Yahoo league, most likely they're doing their mock drafts in Yahoo. So you better get the ADPs down for Yahoo so you understand where players are going. Sometimes you'll go into your live draft. There's going to be somebody that takes like in Cincinnati, somebody will take Joe Mixon like in the 5th pick or something like that, just because they want a hometown guy. So just keep your head up for that. But I always have a list, and I'm constantly writing down who I'm getting and who I'm looking for in this round, so that when it comes time, I know exactly who I want, and I don't buckle under the pressure of the guys pushing you towards this player or that player. I already kind of know who I want. I may let it last out a little bit, let them get a little antsy, but I normally know exactly who I want. So just like right now, looking at it, I got Russell Wilson sitting right there. That's pretty healthy. I don't have any running backs I'm looking for. There is one player I want to guarantee myself to get, and I'd hate to wait for him, but I want to get Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, he's going to have a bounce back year. Ankle injury all last year. And if you're worried about the quarterbacks there, I would not worry a bit. We will talk about it a little bit more in our wide receiver ranking show about the actual target share that I guess Taysom Hill gave him last year. I think it was weeks 11 through 15. Check it out. And you might be surprised. I think he got close to almost 9 targets a game from Taysom Hill, and that's going to be plenty to get him, because he's a catching machine. He's going to catch 7 out of 9 every time if it's in his vicinity. And then all those catches are going to turn into first downs, which in the Triple S Showdown, huge bonus. So, again, I might have jumped ahead and grabbed him a little early. I was hoping to get David Montgomery on this back, but I didn't. I got another guy in mind, and you guys might think it's silly, but Josh Jacobs. Again, I got a little bit of knowledge on Josh Jacobs. I want you guys to check out last season's attempt leaders. The attempt leaders. Josh Jacobs, I think, was number 3 or number 4 in attempts. And again, in the Triple S Showdown, you get 2.2 points for every attempt. So that's extra points right there. I know they brought in Kenyon Drake. Did they bring Kenyon Drake in to take over the job? I do not think so. Did they bring him in to take kind of that Devontae Booker role? Probably. And maybe gets a little bit, maybe takes a little bit away. But, in the 4th round, if I can get a running back that led in carries, and he was up there in yards and also in touchdowns, so I got a pretty stout running back, at least to start with. Again, this Triple S Showdown, there's so many different strategies you can take, and you can't just lock yourself into one. Because right now, I locked into Travis Kelce in the 1st round, but if he gets taken before that, then I got a whole different idea of what I want to do. But I know in this Triple S Showdown, I really want one of the top tight ends. If I can't get that, I'm gonna be trying to get like 2 or 3 at the end that I think that can work out, that I can play week to week. A guy I'm looking for late, and hopefully you guys don't steal him, Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, I think, is going to have a bounce back year. He was, I think, top 5 or 6 in targets for tight ends last year. I think he got close to 85 to 90 targets. And honestly, you know what? I'm off on that. I'm going to double check. It was something crazy, like 100 and some targets, but he only caught 50 of them. I think with another year, with Jones and him, I think it's possible maybe to turn that 50%. I think it looks like he got 109 targets, he got 63 receptions. So I think if you can kind of get a couple more receptions in there, get it up to 70, 75, and I think with that extra game, obviously maybe bumping up to 80, on probably like 120 targets, I think you're going to see Evan Ingram back up to where he was a couple of years ago. Obviously having a great rookie season, and then after that it's kind of gone up and down. I think it's just been the way it's gone, obviously with Saquon Barkley getting hurt, the changing the guard from Eli Manning to Daniel Jones. But right now it's 5th round, and it's my turn. I got to make my pick. Right now I have 0 quarterbacks, and the one thing I've noticed in the Triple S Showdown, you want to get a quarterback, and you want to have 2 quarterbacks by the time the 6th round hits. If you don't do that, you kind of got some sleepers down there, but you never know when they're going to get picked up. So you don't want to just try to let it go and let it ride, because it's a 12-person draft. Somebody could take a 4th. Somebody could even take a 5th quarterback. I've seen it done. I saw a guy take 5 or 6 quarterbacks just to mess with everybody. And it's funny. So, it doesn't bother me, but something I keep an eye on. Looks like my time is up. It took Aaron Rodgers. That's fine. What I'll do is I'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. There's obviously didn't go to OTAs, may not go to training camp, may not even make it in for the preseason. Do I think he's going to play this year? Yes, I do think he's going to play. Who's he going to play for? I do not know. I'm about 80% for the Packers, 20% for somebody else. But here's the problem. Without Rodgers, Devontae Adams is going to drop dramatically. It's pretty much putting his ADP. If without Rodgers, I'd see him drop all the way to the 3rd or 4th round in this tournament. But you just don't know, and that's honestly why that our show hasn't done the running back rankings yet. We've been trying to wait for Aaron Rodgers to decide what he's going to do. I hope he doesn't wait till the last minute, but right now we got Aaron Rodgers. He's deciding, and it's really screwing up our ranks with Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones, we only have one game in the past couple of years where he started and Aaron Rodgers didn't. In that one game, he got 130, I think it was around 131 yards, and I think he had 2 touchdowns. So the game that Aaron Rodgers didn't start, he dominated. And I think he actually caught like 4 balls that game, and in that year, that was the most balls he caught all season. So without Rodgers, Aaron Jones has done fine, so I wouldn't really worry about Aaron Jones too much. And I do think, Devontae Adams is a dominant receiver. He's going to get his. It's basically Jordan Love just got to throw it up and let him catch it. But, a lot of those, intermediate throws, I don't think he's going to get as many of the easy ones that, on the 5-yard slants that Rodgers was putting it into his gut, where I don't think Love is going to be able to pinpoint like Rodgers can. Looks like Tom Brady was taken. Unfortunately, that was my next pick. I could wait. I do want to end this tournament with 3 quarterbacks total at least, maybe even 4, and that's where you'll see a lot of these quarterbacks will start dropping off, and then maybe I'll wait later and try to get like a Derek Carr or Roethlisberger and hope they have a really good season. I think Tom Brady last year, I was able to get him in a lot of drafts really late, just of the hopes that he has a good season. He started off slow, but he finished super strong. So if you were able to hold on to Brady all season long, you probably had yourself a pretty dominating year. It looks like J.L. Khan 07 in the 12th pick got himself 3 running backs in a row. Went with Swift, Montgomery, and Gaskins. Gaskins this year, he just doesn't have anybody behind him yet. I think he's going to play, and I don't think you're going to have to worry about him. Obviously Tua there, I think that takes away a little bit of, his touchdown possibility. I don't know if Gaskins I would have taken this early, but there really isn't much after the 5th and 6th round of dominant players that are, the percentage of play time. So he's able to get Robert Woods on the last pick, so he's got to wait, 23 more picks till he goes again. Next behind him in the 11th pick, T. Green, 503. Again, a lot of these guys came out last year and helped me out tremendously. So again, thanks to everybody for joining my draft again. So a lot of the similar names. Swamp King, he missed a whole year. He got real busy. So I think it was last year he was kind of out, but it's pretty cool. So Swamp King and me are actually in the same league for the Triple S tournament, which I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to try to do a little bit of shit talking and see how far it goes. You just kind of get the feel for the room and see how much you can do. Obviously there's some rules behind it again for charity, so I don't want to get too harsh, but I do want to tell them that, that their team sucks and my team's awesome. I mean, you want to at least get that in a couple times, any way you can. So if anybody has any questions, I'm trying to see here. We got Swamp King. He's in there. Thank you. All the winnings are going to the charity this year. No winnings for individuals this year. At least that is what I understand about Tree 50 wants to do. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Again, it doesn't bother me. I want all the money to go to charity. It should. Great organization. I'd love for, there's going to be somebody that wins and they're like, man, I'd love to keep some of the money. And I'm sure we'll figure out a way to compensate them to make sure they feel good about themselves. Again, winning this tournament isn't an easy task. Hopefully your name will go down the halls for years to come if this tournament keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's kind of like World Series of Poker back in the day where, very first couple World Series, there's only 12, 14 people. Then it came up to 50 and then 100. And then the next thing you know, it's, they're going on to, 2,000 to 3,000 people. And that thing was huge. So hope the Triple S Showdown tournament gets as big as that. And as quick as that did, fantasy football I don't think is going away anytime soon. I think it's a more fun way to watch the sport, obviously. You got some players, like, there's going to be a lot of people that don't have close teams to them, and they don't want to actually root for an individual team. And then sometimes you just don't want to root for that team, kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals. I've been stuck with them for years, and the owner's complete shit. And, it's hard to want to back a team that the owner it doesn't look like they want to win. So I'd rather invest in myself and actually try to make money, but at the same time enjoy every game because I got a little bit something behind it. It's almost like betting on every single game, just betting on one player or two players in the game, so it's fun to watch. I like to watch it on Red Zone. A couple of my buddies get Red Zone. A couple of my buddies have, NFL Sunday Ticket. But honestly, I just do it on 5. Like I'll watch them on 12 and 19 with the rabbit ears. I'm trying to go through some of these teams real quick. Swamp King, again, guy that's co-runner of the tournament. Started off with Patrick Mahomes, got himself Antonio Gibson. I'm not as high on Antonio Gibson this year as I feel like I should, but I just don't have the faith that he can carry the load like he is. So at the ADP he is right now in the back end of the second or the middle of the second round. I just think that ADP is a little too high for him. But then you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, got himself a decent tight end. It looks like I got auto-picked. Oh, well. Got to figure out how to fix that. Again, Sleeper app, super cool. It does auto-pick. I got to turn it off real quick. Looks like it picked Chase Edmonds for me. I could pause it and fix it, but who cares? I do need another running back. I probably wouldn't have picked Chase Edmonds. I don't have too much faith in him this year. But let's go back to Swamp King's team again, getting Mark Andrews there in the 4th round. Good pick there. Lamar Jackson's go-to tight end. Underneath, but over the top too. He can hit the seam, get yourself close to 10 touchdowns. Hopefully for Swamp King's sake, he can get it, over 80 catches this year, get 10 touchdowns, and I think that's where you'll actually be getting a good price on your investment that you put in there in the 4th round. Ended up getting A-Rob there in the 5th, and then he went after, Javonte Williams. So he went after Javonte Williams. Again, I don't know if he's actually going to be a starter yet. Melvin Gordon's still there, obviously. A lot of coach speak. I think the reason why you hear Javonte is probably going to start, or you think he's going to start, is because he actually went to OTAs. He actually was there, working out in front of the coaches. Melvin Gordon did not. But, a veteran's not going to show up and get themselves hurt. When it comes time to get to it, Gordon's going to play, and he's going to be a dominant player. I just don't see Williams, and I don't think Williams should be going in front of Gordon, right? But right now, with all the coach speak and all the things you're hearing, you're gonna put yourself into a situation where you might have reached on a Williams when you could have just taken Gordon in the 8th or ninth round. See how it goes. Looks like T. Green picked up one of my favorite players to get in this draft. Juju Smith-Schuster. Again, another guy that constantly is getting receptions. Big Ben back for another season. Trying to get... I got a little something writ up for Juju Smith-Schuster. I put it somewhere, but... again, with Ben Roethlisberger, he's got a couple targets. Obviously Claypool there. Ebron, if you want to count him. And then I want to say Johnson's there also, and then Juju Smith-Schuster, which I think Juju's going to play the slot, which I think is really good for him because when Antonio Brown was there, that's where Juju kind of played, and he got a lot of receptions and put himself into the number one wide receiver talk. I think with Ben Roethlisberger still being there, he can always carry at least 3 players. He'll either carry a running back, a tight end, or a wide receiver, or all 3 will be wide receivers. So last year he carried 3 wide receivers, and Juju Smith-Schuster did perfectly fine. Again, I think Juju Smith-Schuster had close to 100 catches. It might have been just underneath. I'll check it out real quick just to make sure I got all my stats. I hate giving you guys the wrong stats. I try to keep them all up in my head, but yeah, he got 97 receptions last year. So again, worth every bit in the 7th round. I don't think Claypool's going to take on the receptions roles. I think he's going to take the same role he took, in the previous year, where he was just, the over-the-top guy. But they did actually try to, hit Claypool a lot more in the red zone by the end of the year, and you saw that. I think he had a 3 or 4 touchdown game. But Juju Smith-Schuster again there in the 7th round. I think that was a perfect pick for T. Green. Like it. Let's go to Dustin's team. They're at pick 5. Started off with Derrick Henry, then picked up Najee Harris, and then Joe Mixon. So it went 1, 2, 3, running back. It almost looks like every time it was his pick, he felt like he knew who he wanted. So, and then he went quarterback with Stafford and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow coming back from got another horrific injury, which, again, Cincinnati Bengals fan, you see my Cincinnati Bengals stuff. If they don't get a line for him, he ain't going to be able to stand up. That guy's going to be busted, and it's going to look like a robot here in about 4 years because he won't be able to walk. But was able to get Johnson and Devonta Smith, there in the next 2 picks, which that's gonna hurt him a lot. Again, you need 3 wide receivers. Sometimes you need to get your wide receivers early, even if there is a running back there you want. I think in this style of tournament, you want to try to find your running back a little bit later. Again, I'm looking at Chase Edmonds right now that I got. Again, I don't think I would have picked him up, but a guy who I'm looking for later is definitely James Conner. Edmonds has been on the team for, I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. Edmonds has been on the team for 3 years now, and they've used him the same way every year. They had Kenyon Drake there last year. Now they have James Conner. They had David Johnson a couple years ago, and they still had Chase Edmonds. It looks like they have a specific role they like for Chase Edmonds, but they don't want to actually give him that first and second down role. And I don't think with the addition of Conner that they're going to keep up with. They're going to move Chase Edmonds into Conner's role. I think Conner's going to get the first and second down, and you're going to get Chase Edmonds there on third down, just like you've seen for the past 3 years. So, I got him there on an auto pick in the 7th round. I wouldn't have taken him, but that's where it's at. I'd honestly, again, I would have probably taken Conner before I take all those guys. Right now, I'm looking at only one quarterback. I need to get another one. A guy I'm looking at is definitely Carson Wentz. I think he's going to have a bounce back year, but I think I can wait. I really need to make sure I lock down some other positions right now. And then I got the Melvin Gordon, Mostert, Waddle, a lot of good players. Honestly, I think it is time to get Carson Wentz. I don't want to, again, you don't want to miss out. A lot of these guys are going to take another quarterback on the way down, and I might be stuck with old and busted guys that I don't want. Daniel Jones, good quarterback. I don't think he's going to have a dominant season, but I think he's going to be right there around probably quarterback 15 or 16, so he'll be middle of the road. something you can use from time to time, but he's not a guy that I want to put in my super flex every week. So guys that I saw out there, like a Melvin Gordon, James Conner is still out there, or at least should be. I want to double check because I've been kind of talking to you guys, checking this out. Again, thanks for tuning in. Sin City Fantasy, first show, first everything. I'm ready to go. Honestly, a little nervous. Haven't been on this show, but I actually did a couple of things in the off season that I've been wanting to do for, years now. One of my first things when I got out of high school was I wanted to get into broadcasting. And just the way everything worked out, I couldn't figure it out. The school cost too much, or I just wasn't getting into it. And honestly, at that point, I wasn't at the point where I could talk in front of groups of people without being nervous. And so when I went to college for what I do now, but I took a lot of extra courses on public speaking and stuff to help me out to get my confidence up, honestly. And so this past year, I talked to the local high school, and we got in on a YouTube thing for the local high school, but I kind of shut it down because of all the COVID stuff. I didn't want a kid coming over here and doing an interview, or a coach coming over here and doing an interview and have it get back to the school, and if they got COVID or I got COVID, I'd hate to actually ruin that kid's final season as a senior just because I got COVID and I asked him to come over. So we kind of shut that down. But along the way, they asked me to start broadcasting their sports. So I did soccer and football in the spring or in the fall. Soccer was interesting. It's a fast-paced game. Players don't hold on the ball long, so it's hard to be like, hey, went to Smith to Edwards to to Patel to here to across the field. I know it was nuts, but it was good training. And then we got to football, and I actually, since I enjoy the game of football and I enjoy soccer, but I enjoy listening to football announcers. I like what they talk about. I love the stories that they bring up, and I just love talking about football. And I was able to find a buddy who wanted to do it with me, so I took all this stuff, took it over to the football field, and I started broadcasting football. And it was insane. Again, a dream of mine, and I hope you guys, if you ever have a dream that you have time to actually follow it. Even though I was, it was high school. It wasn't college, it wasn't pros, but it was high school, and it was something. And it was something I've been wanting to do forever. Again, if you guys have a dream and you have a chance to follow it by any means, you got to do it, because I had such a blast. And I think it taught me so much. Right now, I'm here in the 9th round. I really want another quarterback, but Daniel Jones still there. I'm looking at other quarterbacks later. I'm actually looking at a guy like Will Fuller. I think he's going to have a decent season. He does have a 1-game suspension, but that's all right. I think it's a good spot to get him in. I think him and Tua should be good together. Again, a guy that's coming back around. I've been talking about James Conner. I like him on the way back. I do want to get another tight end before we end this thing. So, it's funny. A lot of times you get into those 10-person regular drafts, no tight end premium, not many flex, like one flex. And by the time you get to the 9th round, all the good players are done, and you're just picking randoms, and you're just trying to find guys that have a lot of upside, or you're trying to find your backup. So like right now, if I was Alvin Kamara's owner, I'd start looking for Latavius Murray and trying to get him in like the 11th or 12th round, just because honestly those rounds are just they're kind of useless. But here in the Triple S Showdown, we'll talk about it a little bit, for the mystuffbags.org charity, every round counts. Every round means something. Again, right now I only got 2 running backs, but I knew that going in. I was hoping to get, trying to see if he's out there, and he might still be, so I might not want to say. Oh, there it is. So I was hoping to get Carter from the Jets. Not able to get him this time, but like I was talking about earlier, I'm okay with taking James Conner right now. That way I lock down that Arizona backfield. If one of them gets hurt, so if Edmonds gets hurt or Conner gets hurt, I got the number 1 running back, and I'm thinking I'm looking pretty good right now. Right after me, David Johnson goes. I'm staying away from the Houston backfield, and honestly, for a little bit, until it kind of sorts itself out, I'm staying really far away from San Francisco's backfield. If the injuries don't settle themselves, most hurt won't be worth it. Sermon he might get the starting role, but as a rookie, he may not be in there on first and second down because you need to get some pass blockers in there. And if he can't, a lot of those rookies can't take up that role as a pass blocker, and they don't want to get their quarterback demolished. So we'll see if they can get him in. But trying to stay away from 49ers. And honestly, again, we talked about Denver's backfield. If you don't know who's going to be in there and you take, Williams, I'd honestly say if Gordon's still there in the 11th round, I'd probably lock myself in and just make sure I get both those guys. If you got room right now, Swamp King's got Williams, and he's got 3 wide receivers. Like to have 4 at this point, and he's got 3 quarterbacks, so I think he's good there. It might be the round where he does take Melvin Gordon just to lock up that backfield. You want to make sure that you get any upside you can. If you can get the dominant running back somehow, some way, by injury or just by a coach not knowing who they want to pick, or if they pick Javonte Williams and say Gordon, you're sitting, which I don't think they will. That's the way it's going to go. Obviously the draft going by quick. First one of the year. Again, thanks guys for tuning in. If you like what you see, we're going to have a couple more of these. Make sure you like and subscribe, but definitely get ready for the ranking shows that are coming out. Hoping to get Rogers back. Maybe get Lexi here for an occasional show. She just got a lot going on, and it was hard on that end of the year. I think it was 2 years ago at the end of the year. She just kind of petered out, and we could tell, and I talked to her about it. She had a wedding coming up. She was buying a house. It was just, and I think she had 2 or 3 jobs going on. So, adding this into it was almost too much, even though it was only 1 day a week. But hey, just even trying to get here, we go over the show a little bit. Basically it's all run from this little computer. So we don't have a producer. We don't have anything. It's all me. And every year we try to do a little bit more to get better and better. I talked about this quarterback, just to switch paces. I talked about this quarterback just a little bit ago, Ben Roethlisberger. I like to pick him up in this year. I think, with the yardage and touchdowns he's going to have, I think he's going to be a dominant quarterback. Again, maybe not, top 5, but I can see him as top 12. Jameis Winston goes. Another guy I'm looking to grab is going to be Taysom Hill. Guys, if Taysom Hill starts, he averages like 2 touchdowns a game, either running or throwing. Whatever they bring to the table, he's going to do. So we'll talk about it in our running back ranking show, which I'll give you a little sneak preview of what we're should get you guys back to the draft. I'm over here playing around. Again, I do everything. I'm a one-man show, so take it easy on me. Again, first show of the year. Right now, I'm actually smoking a pork butt, so I should get up there and spray it down. And if you guys like smoking food, I enjoy it. It's a relaxing to me. I get out there, try to make something. Today, I was trying to do a little bit something different. So get the pork butt out there. It's going to be a super low, super slow cook. I think I'm doing it at like 225 the entire time. So doing it with a couple little sticks of wood and then trying to get it done in about 10 hours. So hopefully have it done by right before tonight's fights. Again, we got McGregor Poirier tonight. Something me and my buddies are trying to get together and watch it. Hopefully you guys do too. The only thing I don't like about it is you're going to pay a shit ton of money and you're only going to enjoy one fight that's out there, and that's the only one. The rest of the fights, I'm looking at the undercard. I'm not excited about it. I might just show up around 11 o'clock, and pay my money to whoever has it and watch the fight and then go home. So if you guys are into UFC, which I used to be really big into UFC a long time ago. So the audio cut out. That stinks. You know why the audio might have cut out? I wonder if I didn't set up the audio. I'll get you guys out. And we're back, obviously. So I want to, again, thanks guys for, we'll have to go all through that other stuff here in a second, but I'm going to fix that little thing. So what I was showing you guys, unfortunately the audio cut out, and thanks for telling me, and that stinks that whole time. But either way, we got a rankings show coming up on Monday. I was showing you the rankings that we're going to be using. Looks like it auto-picked for me, which is fine. At this point, Jamal Williams, again, went over to Detroit. Probably going to do what he did over there, third down back. He might, honestly, with Swift there, he might turn into 1-2, and then Swift will be the third down back. So just watch out for that. Honestly, I wouldn't have picked him in this spot. I'm still looking to grab another quarterback. Like I said, I'd like to have 4 quarterbacks by the end of this. One, if we're allowed to do trading this year, it's always good to have that extra quarterback in your back pocket. Obviously, Taysom Hill was taken earlier. Troutman, Cook. A lot of these high-end tight ends are going to be really valuable here, and you can play them in the flex position, obviously. And then, obviously, when I have Kelsey off for the bye week, but I think everybody's catching in on that. Again, sorry for the audio cutting out, but again, thank you guys for telling me. It shows me that you're watching and you're caring. So, all the stuff I said, we'll bring it up on a future show. Talked about the fight. Talked about smoking meat. I love smoking pork and ribs, and I said some beef ribs. They didn't turn out too well. If you guys do beef ribs and you understand how to do it, please write something down in the comments and tell me how to do it, because I have no idea. My beef ribs always turn out too dry, and I don't know, they come out tough and they're just not good. But my pork ribs, they're on point. Like the pork ribs, I got lots of good feedback. Everybody loves them, and whenever I go somewhere, everybody is going to say, "Hey, can you smoke some ribs?" So that's always good. And I'm doing a pork butt today, doing it on really slow. It's going to be probably a 10-hour cook, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm doing it on about 225, and I'm supposed to be spraying it off about every half an hour to 45 minutes. But this show, I had to get it in, guys. I really been wanting to get you guys a show as quick as I could. Unfortunately, Jared's been busy. Matt's been busy. Everybody's been busy. After COVID, a lot of things, you got to step up your game lately and, maybe work a little bit harder. There's a lot of people out there that just aren't working right now, and you got to fill in for them. So at my regular job, I'm doing almost twice as much work. And, it feels good, though, getting stuff done. But in the off season, since we haven't talked, I bought a lake house. So I guess I'm getting auto picked right now. Sleeper app will automatically auto pick you, but basically bought a lake house, and super awesome. Right now, I've had a journey that you guys wouldn't believe. The story I could tell you, if you've hung on this long, I'll tell you a little story. It's funny, but it's sad at the same time. Bought the lake house, went there, and I was going every weekend for probably 5 weekends. It's about 4.5 hours away, 5 hours away. It's down Lake Norris, Tennessee. So if you guys ever been to Tennessee, you know where Lake Norris is. That's where we bought one over there by Flat Hollow Marina. Great joint. Got new owners, so I thought that was a good idea when I bought the place. I was like, this area should be up and coming, and I hope it is. But I've befriended a guy down there. He was doing all my I talked to him. We started paying him under the table. He's doing a lot of the maintenance work, fixing the dock, fixing stuff that, since I live all the way back in Cincinnati, he was able to do for me when I wasn't there. And he was working for me for a couple weeks, couple months, and I called him up one day. I was just, hey man, I haven't talked to you in a while. Just miss you. I'm gonna be down there in a little bit. Hope to see you down there. And then of course, asked him if he got to any of the jobs, and then I said, if anything's wrong, I hope you're doing okay. Well, I get a call from his sister about 4 days later. She was in the hospital. Somehow she got my number, and unfortunately, my maintenance guy passed away. And this is like literally 2 weeks before I'm about to have my first renter. And again, a guy that, basically that was a big help in me getting started. And if you guys ever do something like this, buy a rental property, something like this, you're going to have good people around you. And he was a good person. So again, to my buddy Donnie, I'm going to take a sip for him. And if you guys got a drink at home, make sure you tip one back for my boy Donnie. But after all that, unfortunately he passed away. He passed away with a natty light in his hand and a smile too. So hopefully you guys are doing the same thing. Just stay above ground for a little bit longer to make sure you check out a couple more of these episodes and live life again, because you just never know when it's going to stop. And again, that's another reason why you see me here today. Is this again is something I've been wanting to do for years. And when we started up 5 years ago, the first show was on my Samsung Galaxy S5 or S7. It was rough, and it takes a lot of hard work to get to this point. So again, if you got the drive and determination to do something like this, I strongly suggest it. Get yourself out of your bubble. Get yourself onto, new things. I know one of my favorite things to do is sing karaoke, and I'm checking out sing karaoke. And again, I never would have done that if I never would have started doing stuff like this. I never would have done that. I picked, doing the broadcasting is so much fun. So again, if you guys like, sports, talking about sports, and play-by-play and color commentary, I'll tell you a good little story to finish it off and finish this show off. I'm going to grab another tight end. I definitely want one before this show ends. I'm looking at a guy like Ebron, but a dominant player last year was Jonnu Smith. He's going into an offense that used to be able to handle two tight ends, obviously, in Hernandez and Gronkowski. I think that's what they're going to try to get back to. I think you're going to see Mac Jones actually play a little bit this year, so I'm going to get Jonnu Smith, get him drafted, and I think that's how we're going to end this draft again, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't want to do it without you. It's going to be a great season. We're going to get Jared back. We're going to get Rogers back. Maybe I'll call in Lexi. She actually moved like 10 minutes down the road, so she's actually really close now. If I can get her in here just so you guys can have something better to look at, it'd be awesome. But again, to finish off the story about the broadcasting, after all that I did for the local high school, people caught wind, and somebody put my name out there into a hat for this online site called Chatterbox. And an athletic director from a close school told them about me doing it, and they were looking for help, and they called me, and I actually got to do, and they paid me to do it, so it was pretty cool. I actually got to do some Division I boys basketball, which I didn't even tell you guys that, or at least the at least the audio wasn't working. So I actually got to do some Division I boys basketball broadcasting. Did Division II girls just because they played in the same arena, and it was awesome. Again, something I never thought I was going to get to do, but I hope to get to do it for years to come. And doing stuff like this and having you guys like the show is awesome. So if you want to make sure, leave a comment down there. Again, sorry about the audio stuff. I thought I spent most of the day trying to make sure everything was going to be ready to go. But obviously when I showed you the rankings page, that page wasn't ready to go yet. So unfortunately, that's the way things go. I'm going to get you guys back. Again, great mock draft. The first one for the Triple S Showdown, supporting mystuffbags.org, going out for, helping 300,000 boys and girls that, are abandoned, abused, neglected in their own homes, trying to help them out, get them blankets, toys, stuffed animals, stuff like that. Give $5 and you wouldn't believe how much it's going to help them more than it helps you. So if you guys do it, make sure you get a hold of About Tree 50 on the Sleeper app. At him, find him. I'll try to figure out a way, or just get a hold of me and I'll get you guys. Make sure you get the Sleeper app. The Sleeper app is awesome. You can start up a whole bunch of leagues. It's a great place to find new leagues. And a lot of people, I just use it for the mock drafts a lot of times, because the way they do their mock drafts, you can buzz through a whole bunch of mock drafts without having to wait. You just set them up yourself. You put how many, how your roster is set, how much time, and then just they can auto pick, or you can actually copy and paste and send them to your buddies in like a quick text. And the next thing you know, it's going to be all your friends there in mock drafting with you. So again, thanks for tuning in this long, about an hour-long show. I got to get out to my pork butt and spray it down a little bit. Hopefully we're getting past the point where the fat is rendered, and I'm gonna put that thing in some tin foil and let it sit for another 3 or 4 hours. Again, low and slow. It's going to be great. Hope you guys tune in next time. Again, thanks for tuning in. Sin City Fantasy, I'm Tim. Hopefully we'll have Jared and Matt and some more special guests for you guys in the future.